Okay, and welcome back to the last part to graphing my name in Desmos. So right now I have the A, which are those equations, the D, those equations, and the other A with those four equations. Now I want to finish it with the M. So right now, I'm going to kind of zoom in on here. I'm going to draw my M in here by graphing it. Now I want my M kind of close to my A. So I'm going to have a couple of vertical, basically it's going to look like um, a vertical line here and a vertical line somewhere over here and then like a V in between it. So I want my vertical line, looks like, I don't know, somewhere in between 10 and 11. If I kind of zoom in a little bit, I get a little bit better read on where that is. So I'm going to put it at 10.5. So again, for vertical lines, we're going to have an X equals at whatever number we want it to be at. So vertical lines, we write X equals. Now for horizontals, it's Y equals. This right here actually is way up there, but we don't want to line up there. I'm just showing you vertical and horizontal lines again. Okay, so zoom back in, and I want one over here somewhere for the rest of my M. Now I'm trying to figure out how kind of large I want this. Maybe I'll have one at 10.5 and one at 12.5 and see how that looks. So if you don't want to type that again, you want to get in the habit of, actually hold on a sec. Let's do our domain restriction real quick. So it's going to look a lot like some of the other ones where we have X equals a number and then 0 to a number we stop at. We're going to stop it at the same domain restriction. So what I'm going to do is just copy and paste that. What that does is it keeps the height of my other letters. So, and then I said I wanted it at, I know I'm zooming in and zooming out a lot right now, but I wanted it at 12.5, the other part of the M. So I'm going to copy this whole thing, paste it, and change this to it, 12.5. Now go to the gear, hit whatever color you want, purple is fine. Keep it all the same colors. You don't have to have all the different colors, but for me, I'm just kind of keeping it like that so you can kind of see the different equations for the different letters. Okay, so I got that. Now I just need my kind of V in here for the M. So what I want to do is I'm going to graph a point right here in the middle, kind of like right where I want my my M to meet up. The point right here is 11.5. So right now I'm plotting points to help me graph lines by finding out the slope between 2 points. So I want a point right here and I want a point right there. So 11.5, and this is at a height of 1. It tells you right there on the side, 1. Okay, now I have that point right there, and I want this point over here, which is 10.5, 2. So I'm going to put another point, 10.5, comma, 2. What this is going to do is going to help me get my slope from this point to that point. So I go down from 2 to 1, so that's 1, and then over from 10.5 to 11.5, well, that's 1 as well. So that means my slope for a line that passes through those points for my, so y equals, now my slope will be 1 over 1. So come here to my division, 1, go down, 1, and then make sure you, after you enter your slope, you kind of hit the right arrow key and it moves over, and then you put the x variable. Make sure you do not put it down here, or else you're going to get something way different, something totally different. So make sure you put it right next to it, 1 over 1x. Now, right now, we don't really have the line where we need it to go. Actually, I need it to go down through those points and not up over here. So I need it to be, make sure it's over here, negative. So I have it in the right direction, but I need it way over here, meaning I need its y-intercept up here so it comes down through those points. And luckily, this is going to be a little bit easier because we know if we go over one of these boxes and up, over one, so we keep going like this, because it's over 1 unit, up 1 unit, over one. See how we go? Over 1 unit, up 1 unit, over 1 unit, up 1 unit. And you keep going, and actually if you can follow these boxes like this, it's kind of weird, but it's up 1, over 1. You keep going diagonal through all these. I'm gonna run out of space, so I'm gonna be right there. Hold on a sec, I need to kind of, I was right here. I keep going diagonal, and I end up at that spot right there. So I need to zoom in to see exactly what that was. And that was right here, I believe. Let's try. I think that's like 12. I think it was like 12.5. Let's just see. So you kind of got to trial and error this. And now it graphed my line where I want it to go, but let's see if it went through the points that I wanted it to go through. Oh, look at that. Perfect. See how it goes through each diagonal box? Goes over 1, up 1, or the other way would be down 1, over 1. But it goes all the way up to 12.5, and this right here would be 13. So that's perfect. Now I need to restrict that domain because I don't want it to be over here and I don't want it to be down here. So how I do that, again, if you want to use this, you can, but this squirrely little parentheses. So I want it to be no, I don't want anything over here on the outside of this, then the left, anything less than this x value, and anything greater than this x value. So my minimum, my least number in there, would be 10.5. Getting that straight from my points, that's why the points help. And then I go back to my less than or equal sign. Now I'm using a domain restriction, meaning I want it just from here to here. I'm minimizing the width of the line, which is x, and then I want it to be no more than what was right here for my x value, 11 point, oops, I have to be inside the parentheses, 11.5, and there we have it. It's perfect. Now what's cool about this is I can go into here, hit that gear. This is the duplicate button, duplicate it, and instead of having a line that goes down through those points, I want a line that goes positive this way. So let's see if we change the slope, if that helps. Okay, positive. Now where did that line go? Where did that line go? Whoa, it went way up there. So see how it's way up here and we need it way down there? That is because if we kept the same y-intercept, it's going through that y-intercept over here. What if we change this y-intercept to a negative? Now, let's go in here and zoom in. Didn't work. You know why? Because we're restricting its domain from the same restrictions, meaning that we need it to go from 11.5 to this, which is 12.5. So we need to change my domain restriction. And why is it not doing that? Okay, so I'm making a mistake real quick. Let's see if I can figure it out. I needed to go up more. Let's see here. I'm gonna pause the video real quick and figure this out. This is what I figured out. It's kind of hard to show you what to do. I thought about it in my head and I kind of figured it out, but the best way possible is, see how we have these 2 points and we figured out this line from the 2 points? I'm gonna change that green point to be over here to help me kind of get the same line over here. So I'm gonna change, instead of having 10.52, I want 12.52. So I'm going to change that green point to be 12.52, and now I need a line that goes through these points. So I need to know what the slope is, and now that's from 1 up to 2. So my rise is 1, so 1 to 2 is 1, and then over, let's kind of minimize this, over from 11.5 to 12.5. That's just plus 1, right? Because 11.5 plus 1 equals 12.5, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So it's still the same slope, but we're going up this time, so it's a positive slope. So this positive slope is still 1 over 1. That's good. Now, I'm going to use that slope to try to change this y-intercept so that this line right here moves up there. Now, I'm going to back out a little bit so it's easier for me to see. But what happens is, here, this is perfect. I'm going to go from here down 1 over 1 using these unit boxes. And it's going to be kind of weird. So if you keep going down 1 over 1, you're moving this diagonal line through these corners of the boxes. Let me make sure I'm still on the right track. It's kind of odd. This is the best way that I would show you guys because this is pretty much the only way that we would know how to do it right now. There are other ways on graphing these equations. I'm right there. But if you want to look on the internet on how to do it, feel free. And then I'm going to end up right there. So it's right here, which is halfway. This is going to be 11. And what's halfway from 10, negative 10 to negative 11? It's going to be negative 10.5. So I need to change this to a negative 10.5, and hopefully that moved my line perfectly. And it did. So if I back out, look, 8 a.m., Atom. That's how you graph the letters for the lines for my letters. Yours might be a little bit more different, but the idea of all the stuff is pretty much there. You might need to figure it out on your own, like a little bit, but really it should be the same thing for graphing my letters as to your letters. And then we can get some crazy stuff going in here probably next week on how to shade and how to make cooler shapes. But for right now, I just want you to graph part of your name. So either the first or last name, and that is it. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I know it's going to be a tough week, but you just got to push through it and figure it out on your own as well as learn from my videos. Okay, see ya.